Measure out a half cup of baking soda and pour it in your bowl. Measure out a quarter cup of vinegar and pour it into the bowl. Watch it fizz and mix as well. Now add 1 teaspoon of sugar. You can also use Caro syrup as well, or corn syrup. The last thing we're going to add in before food coloring is cornstarch. Add in a quarter cup of cornstarch. This is going to make it nice and thick. As you mix, it might get a little difficult, but just keep going, and eventually, once you let it settle, it'll start to turn into goo. But you want to make sure you get all that cornstarch mixed in. Now pour equal amounts of the mixture into each hole of the container you're using to create each of your colors in. I used an ice cube tray. You could also use a muffin tin or something else that's disposable. Remember, we're using food coloring, so it could dye the tray. So just be careful and measure out equal amounts for however many colors you want. Now add in a few drops of food coloring into each of the little mixtures and use something like a toothpick or a fork to thoroughly blend in the color. You want to make sure that color gets fully through the mixture in that little hole. I used a few drops of different colors to create the colors that I wanted. You can mix whatever colors you would like. Remember, yellow plus blue equals green. Red plus yellow equals orange. So it depends on what color you want. If you want to make turquoise, you'll add a few more drops of blue than you will of yellow. If you want to make dark blue, you're going to add more drops of blue. Clean up and let it sit someplace for 24 hours that's nice and dry. Once your paints are dry or are close to dry, you can start painting with them. Just add water and paint. Have fun with it, and make sure you rinse your brush before you change colors so that you don't contaminate the other colors with whatever color was on your brush first. You can paint abstractly, like I'm doing, and just paint all over the page, or you could paint a picture outdoors. That's one of my favorite ways to do watercolor. You can even do a few different techniques with it that I'll show you as I'm painting with a splatter technique. Do be careful that where you're painting, because these paints can dye what you're painting on because they are using food coloring. So just be mindful and clean up when you're done. You can set these paints to the side to dry once you're all done, and then use them as many times as you can till the paint's all gone.